Yes, that's very true. Because everything is now ready. It's now in place. Just we're just a start of a key away. But God's people, yes, none of them understand that they are within confinement, surrounded by walls that God will have to break before he can preach the everlasting gospels. That is why a great surprise is coming for all religions of the world, that all believe the gospel belongs to them. But the gospel, it never belonged to anyone. It never belonged to the antediluvians or to the Israelites or to the Jews or to the apostles or to the Waldenses or to the reformers or to all. It never belonged to the Catholics. Yes, he actually gave us this history so we can learn. We have a lot of information in our time. He gave this to us so that we can learn. But it seems we are not learning. Just imagine if God can send a Muslim to teach to the whole world. Who will believe him? Only Muslims will believe him. They don't understand. A breaking of religious walls is coming. This is why God says, come out of here, my people. So I'm wondering who will be ready for the coming of Jesus Christ, because everything else is ready. The 4 living beings are ready. They are on standby. God has been on standby long time. God is on standby for the end of the world. The 4 angels are on standby. They are ready. It seems just the end of the world will be concentrated by the 4th number. Even the 4th seal is ready. The four elements of creation, they are ready. But God's people are not ready. They can pray, they can fast, they can do all these things, and when God comes, you see, I know God's people who can fast for God's revelations, but when God sent his angel to reveal, as he did in the time of Daniel, they reject. They go back to the previous knowledge. They want God to reveal to them things that they already know. So I don't think God's people are ready, but only God will make us ready. Even Babylon is ready. Lucifer and his angels, they are ready for the end of the world. But it seems God's people are not aware. We are just a few moments away. I wish you could see what I'm talking about. I find the problem to be in using a wrong calendar. Most people don't understand. We are using a Gregorian calendar. It's a calendar of the Pope, which has been written about that they will try to change times and seasons of God. But the word try means it will not succeed. God's time it does not say 2024. You get what I'm saying? Because if I reveal this one, I will have said more. I hate to answer this one direct. However, it's stupid to use a worldly things like calendar. There is Jubilee calendar that only few Christians understand about it. The same calendar that the Jews should have used to know about the first coming of Christ. You know, a Jubilee calendar pointed exactly that. This is why the 70 weeks prophecy are given in unit of weeks. God wanted them to know that the decree of Artaxerxes will have to be given on a Sunday year, because a week begins on a Sunday. If they could have counted from a Sunday year, which of course it was given on a Sunday year, the 3rd decree, they would have arrived exactly at the coming of Christ. They would have known, because that was the Jubilee. That is the calendar of God. Of course, yes, I think most would still fail to to understand, because even today most people who understand the prophecy of the 70 weeks, they count from the end, and then they go back to history. They find that it begins from the decree, from when the decree of Artaxerxes, which is the third decree, was given, but none understand how the ancient Jews could have known that prophecy if they could have counted from the beginning. Actually, many prophets, many Christians today would still fail to understand when Jesus would be coming if they could have lived in the past, because none understand how they could have known when to count, because 3 decrees were given, but God wanted them to count from a Sunday. A simple thing. Of course, not to disrespect the Bible, but I think we can actually, I don't want to add more on this one, but if I can give you a simple clue, don't count from the birth of Christ, count from his death. You will see many things that you never saw before. Yes, I do use a Gregorian calendar, but for spiritual things, I use the heavenly calendar. According to the heavenly calendar, we are living in an extra time, a borrowed time. However, we are not even 2,000 years ahead. In spiritual calendar does not say it's 2024. This is why there are some people who think Christ has died and risen 2024 years since that time, but it's not true. According to God's timing, Christ will return exactly 2,000 years after the date of his death. The people who thought Christ was coming back in the year 2000 were not wrong. They were wrong in one thing. They used the wrong calendar. To the year 2000, it was saying only on the Gregorian calendar, the calendar that the whole world uses. But God does not count this year as 2024. My last words to all believers would be to say the gospel is an eternal thing. This is why it is called the eternal gospel. This is the most accurate word of saying it. Even the word everlasting gospel is not accurate. It was God. It was with God before creation. It will be with him when all the heavens and the earth are destroyed. So what I want to say more is that my last word to believers, you see why I call people believers. I don't call people maybe Jews or Catholics or Christians or Protestants. I call people believers. Why? Because the last 3 heads, just to give you a clue. There's 7 heads, but I'll only give you the last 3 heads of the great Babylon of Revelation 17. The first, it is Judaism, it is Christianity, it is Protestantism. Realize that the Christianity is what became Catholicism. We are in the head of Protestantism, the last head which has been prophesied. It will last for a very short time. All churches that we call today churches that came out of Catholicism were not supposed to be called Christian churches. They were supposed to be called Protestant churches. There are many of them. According to prophecy, they last very short time. Prophecy, or let me say, the gospel belongs to no one. This is why it is called the eternal gospel. It was there with God before creation. It will be there with him even after the heavens and earth have passed away. The gospel, the eternal gospel, will not even belong to the 144,000. It belongs to God. Christians, let me crash this word for me. Let me say, believers, what do they have to do? Believers have to empty themselves. and trust God. If you trust God, whatever He brings after you, pray to Him to reveal to you, will be what God is bringing if you trust Him. Amen.